Hi, this is Robert Proctor, and today I'm sitting with our Director of Marketing, Patrick Taylor, to get some information on what network marketing business owners might want to know about marketing in today's online world. Patrick, thanks for the time today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's my first question. I talk to a lot of new companies, as you know, every week, and one of their concerns is being on the front page of Google. How important and relative is search engine optimization, or SEO, to today's business owner?
I think it's extremely important. You know, the thing is, the advertising platforms, for the most part, are not very friendly to network marketing. And so that makes it all the more important that companies focus on ranking themselves well on search engines. Now, that can mean a lot of different things. A lot of people have a misconception that SEO is a single thing, and it's not. SEO is an everything strategy. It is the on-page SEO being how well optimized your site is, the uniqueness of the content, the relevance of the content to the keywords that people are searching for. You have to remember that search engines want to bring searchers to the most relevant result. So really it comes down to making sure that your keywords align, making sure that your website's set up correctly, following the technical guidelines like using an SSL certificate to make sure that you're on a secured website, those types of things. Because through doing that, you end up ranking yourselves higher on a Google search listings report, or Yahoo or Bing or whatever search you may be referring to. But at that point, you're not paying for every specific lead, as opposed to a pay-per-click or a paid advertising situation.
So let me ask you this. Everyone's concerned about being on page one. What is the likelihood that a new network marketing company, or for that matter, any company, is going to get listed on page one in Google or Bing or Yahoo? What's the likelihood?
Initially, it's going to be very slim. Not to say that it can't be done, and it will be done with your work and devotion into that strategy over time. But it's not something that as soon as your website goes live, you're going to instantly be ranked as a #1 result. You know, you have to first be indexed. Google has to index your page and has to crawl it. And it will look at the content, it will look at the way the page is set up, and a variety of other factors. And through that, they'll decide how relevant it is. And over time, as you build up that reputation, as you build up that relevance, then it will rank you higher and higher. And then eventually, you will be the #1 result. It will be much easier to rank #1 for your own specific brand name, especially if it's an extremely unique brand name, than it would be if you're just talking about a generic product. If your product is in cosmetics and you open Orangey Orange Cosmetics and you just search for cosmetics, you're probably never going to rank #1 for cosmetics, simply because there are so many other competing companies that also sell the same products. And for those generic terms, Google is probably not going to identify you as the single most important. Not initially, maybe in the long run.
Okay, so Multisoft, we're listed on page one. In fact, we're always up in the top 3. What did we do with Google to get listed in those top 3, and what could our clients do to get listed in the top?
So in search results, you have two things. You have a paid or a sponsored result, as well as what is considered or called an organic result. An organic result is just whatever Google's crawlers find and identify as the most relevant results. However, that's not the only results that you're seeing. Typically, when you do a Google search result, what you see, the first 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 listings are what are considered pay-per-click or paid advertising. Through that, you can have your business listed as a #1 result if you're willing to bid high enough to outbid the other competitors in that space. Now, one of the things that you need to be aware of is that Google AdWords and a lot of the other main advertising platforms are not friendly to network marketing. So in a lot of cases, what you can do to rank and to put yourself on the top of that search listing is to advertise your product, not the opportunity. Because if you use your opportunity and you pitch your opportunity in any way, even in just the ad copy itself, Google will look at that and they'll imply that it is a get-rich-quick scheme, and they won't let you run it. They won't even approve the ad. So that pay-per-click advertising is a great way to get yourself on that first page of Google without really having to spend the long-term strategy of building up that reputation and building up that awareness to get yourself organically ranked as a #1 listing.
So it sounds like clients could get listed there, but they've got to use generic terms such as vitamin B, acai berry, things that are not related to the opportunity but related to the products that they're selling, they potentially could get those top listings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They can advertise or they can bid on keywords for their products, whether that be interesting ingredients or relative, similar terms. They can bid on their own company names. They just can't go into depth on what opportunities that they can offer within that company.
Okay, cool. Thank you. There's a new buzzword that you and I have actually talked about a lot, and I don't think our clients and a lot of people really understand or have even heard the buzzword because it's really just now starting to get its rounds. And the word or the phrase is retargeting. What is retargeted marketing?
So retargeting, or otherwise called remarketing, is a method in which a user comes across your product, they look at it, and then later on they see the same thing. For example, I'm sure that you've been on Amazon at some point, you looked at a product, and then later on you were on Facebook or you were on another website and saw a listing that came up on the side of that page for the exact listing that you were just looking at. What's happened is that they use what's called a pixel. It's basically an empty image that refers to a server. So when you visit that page, it marks that you've been on that page, and any other website, any other platform that's on their ad network, they can re-show it back to the same users. This can be extremely effective in re-engaging people who have looked at it, maybe shown a little bit of interest, but moved away from it. Now you can put your ad back in front of their face, you can re-engage them and bring them back to take a look at that product a second time. In most cases, you're going to see much better conversion rates out of those audiences because they are already interested in it.
Okay, so basically it's an ability that if somebody's gone to your website and they didn't necessarily buy, now they go to Facebook, they could see a video advertisement, they could see a text advertisement, they could see an image advertisement that's going to drive them back to maybe a different page that might be more relative to them.
Absolutely, and the thing is, you can use it in a variety of different ways. You can use it for direct product sales. So if somebody's on your product page, like Amazon does, somebody looks at your product, ends up not buying it at that moment, you can show it to them again. But at the same time, you can use it in other ways. So you can bring them back, you can show them relative ads to a page that may not show that exact product, but maybe show something similar, or show something that you feel may be more relevant to that specific customer as opposed to maybe something that they weren't as interested in, on the listing that they were actually looking at. Maybe they didn't make it to the listing itself, maybe they were just on your homepage. Now you can retarget those people and market to people who already are interested in maybe the products that you sell, but didn't get quite in-depth enough to look at your product specifically.
Got it. So some interesting changes that we're seeing in marketing versus, where we started out years ago in radio and television, and now we've moved into the ability to really target right into people's and what they're looking for. So let me ask you another question. You mentioned Facebook. And I know we use Facebook for marketing Multisoft and MLM software. Is Facebook really relative these days to advertising for companies, and is Facebook something that our clients could take advantage of?
I think it's extremely important, and it's a great opportunity. You have to remember that there's over 2 billion people on social media and on Facebook specifically these days. Facebook is a social that is more along the lines of an organic approach. Number one, social engagement drives back and points back to your corporate websites. So it's part of your SEO strategy. As we talked about before, your SEO is all built on the relevance, and it's built on things like backlinks from authoritative websites. A website like Facebook that has so many active, engaged users and unique content is going to appear extremely authoritative. So that's a huge portion to your SEO strategy. But beyond that, Facebook provides opportunities to connect with the network of your distributors. It's an opportunity to really build your brand without spending $1 for every person that sees it. I think that Facebook is absolutely vital to your overall strategy. I think it's something that you should definitely put a lot of energy and a lot of focus on as you build out what the image that you would like to portray to your prospective buyers.
Okay, let me go back to a question that we talked about earlier, and I don't know if our clients or potential clients or viewers know this, but replicated websites are critical for distributors. The distributors have replicated websites to be able to send potential customers and distributors to. And I know from our conversations, and hopefully our viewers will learn here, replicated distributor websites are not indexable in Google. They're not going to index those replicated websites. Is that correct?
So there's kind of a mixed result on that. So they can be indexed, but they're never going to be ranked separately, because whether it's a subdomain or a subdirectory on the website, either way, as far as the search engines are concerned, it's all part of the same website. So your SEO strategy is really ranking your corporate website as number one. But in most cases, the replicated websites are going to be looked at, if anything, as duplicate content. And so they're not going to rank highly, and really you don't want to index them because of concerns over duplicate content penalties and that sort of thing. Okay. So really, the point of the replicated website is to be able to direct that distributor's contacts to his website or her website so that they can really track where those leads, those prospects, those new distributors came from. But as far as being able to advertise them independently and rank them independently, that's not something that you should really focus on.
So I know you talked about companies buying keywords in Google and Bing to be listed. Can distributors buy keywords and target their replicated website? And that's going to lead to a question about Facebook in a minute. Can distributors pay for keywords in Google on a replicated website, or is that limited only to company owners?
Well, as far as Google's platform is concerned, they'll sell advertising to pretty much anyone as long as it meets their guidelines. Okay. What I have to say about that is that as a company policy, you should not allow your distributors to be buying those terms, because what they're doing is they're essentially creating other competing campaigns that are going to be competing for the exact same terms that your corporate brand is trying to bid for. And so all that you're really going to do is drive up the cost on the terms that you want to rank for.
So it makes a lot of sense that distributor or company owners, when they're putting together their terms and conditions, their policy and procedures, they should put things like that in there. Let me ask you this question. So we talked about Facebook, and we talked about Facebook advertising and retargeting. Just like distributors should not buy advertising in Google because they shouldn't be competing against the company, can distributors buy advertising or pay for advertising in Facebook? And should they be? Because Facebook is a little bit different. It can go to your profile, which is different than the corporate. So is it possible for distributors to do advertising in Facebook that necessarily wouldn't be recommended to do in Google?
With Facebook, it's not as keyword targeted, so you're not in direct competition. I'd say with Facebook, that's something that you can be more lenient with because you're not in a situation of direct competition with yourselves, between your distributors and your main corporate entity. So in that regard, I think that that's more permissive, but it's something you still want to be a little bit concerned about because you do have to concern about the messaging, you do have to be concerned about how that's being dispersed. In those situations, I would say it's more a matter of making sure the distributor isn't hitting too large an audience, because if you're advertising on Facebook, sure, you can target just your close friends, you can target the people who have been on your website, or if you really wanted to, you could target everyone in the country, and that may be taking an unfair advantage of other distributors.
Okay, so in today's age, it seems like there's a lot of complicated things to learn about marketing. One of my good buddies, Ray Higdon, talks about the difference between prospecting and marketing. And you're better off to do marketing than you are to do prospecting, because marketing is going to reach that larger audience. I think there's a lot of information that our clients, people watching this video, might be able to garner from, obviously, your experience in this industry and experience in marketing. Can they reach you? Is there a phone number, an email that if a client or potential or just somebody that wants to get some information on marketing and what they should do for their network marketing company, is there a way for them to contact you?
Absolutely, absolutely. You can contact me directly through Multisoft's main office number, or you can reach me through email. Both of those should be listed on this page. Okay,
cool. So, marketing these days is a complex beast. There's a lot of things to learn. What we used to do 5 or 10 years ago, we do different today, and what we're going to do in a year or 2 years or 5 years from now is going to be different from what it is today. What I'd recommend to you is if you got some value from this, If you like this, do me a favor and share it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Patrick at the phone number, the email on this website. And Patrick, I want to thank you for your time today.
Thanks.
Hope you got some value. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.